Begin by accessing the Program Management section of the side menu, then click on Template. You should now see two pre-developed templates under the System Template tab. If you only want to display videos and images, these templates are all you need. If you want to display multiple media zones, you have to create your own template, allowing you to combine elements like videos, images, scrolling text, background color or image, logo, time and date. To create your own template, begin by highlighting the User Template tab and then clicking the New button. A new template box will now appear. Give your template a name and choose a resolution. If you are creating a portrait template, then select 1080 by 1920. If you are creating a landscape template, then select 1920 by 1080. If your screen is the 32-inch model, you will have a resolution of 1366 by 768. Therefore, you must choose either 768 by 1366 for portrait template or 1366 by 768 for landscape template. Once you have done this, click OK. You will now see a template design interface and can begin laying out different zones for your media. Your template can have a background that you can see between media zones. It can either be an image or a colour. This is not an essential element, but can be used to give your content corporate branding. Whether you want an image or a colour as your background, begin by clicking the background option from the interface's side menu. A message will appear asking if you want to set an image as a background. If you click OK, you'll be redirected to your list of uploaded images. Next, tick the checkbox below the image you want to use as your background and then click OK. Your image will now appear as your background and you can add media zones on top of this. If you want to set a background colour, begin by clicking the background option from the interface's side menu. When the message appears asking if you want to set an image as a background, click Cancel and then click anywhere on your template preview and a colour box should appear. Now click the colour drop down box and a colour palette should appear. You can set a colour from one of the samples or choose your own by entering a hex colour code. Once you are happy with your background colour, you can move on to the next step of adding media zones. Your template must include a video zone. These can be used to display either videos or images, and you can only have one video zone per template. This is to avoid conflicting video sound. Begin by clicking the video option from your side menu. Once you have done this, a media zone will appear in your template preview. Your next step is to size and position your video zone. You can do this manually by clicking the zone and dragging out the frame handles. You can also size and position your zones more accurately by entering the values into the input area on the right hand side of the interface. Another useful way of resizing your media zones is to use the scaling tool located at the top of the interface. Once you have a video zone highlighted, you can set the following ratios: 16 by 9, 9 by 16, 5 by 4 or 4 by 5. Select the ratio you want to use and then resize your media zone manually. The settings will ensure that your zone remains at this aspect ratio. You can also set your video zone to fill the screen by using the full screen tool located next to the scaling tool. These tools can also be used for most of your media zones. To delete this zone at any time, simply right click with your mouse and click delete, then click yes. You can add up to 4 image zones per template. It is important to note that video and image zones cannot overlap. Begin by clicking the image option from the side menu. A new media zone will now appear in your template preview. You can resize and position your image zones in the same way as your video zone. Should you want to, you can add other image zones by clicking the image option on the interface's side menu again. When your template has more than one media zone, you can use the positioning tools. Begin by selecting more than one media zone and then select how you want to line them up. Left, center, right, top, middle or bottom. You can also resize the zones based on other zones. For example, if you want your image zone to have the same height as your video zone, select both and then click Match Height button. You can also match width and match height and width at the same time. Another tool that you may find useful is the Lock tool. This locks the selected media zone into position until you select the zone again and unlock it. Again, to delete any zone, simply right-click with your mouse, then click Delete. You can add one scrolling text or RSS feed area to your template. You can set this zone to any size you require, with text scrolling in any direction you like. This is set at a later stage along with other settings like size, speed, background color and font color. Begin by clicking the text option from your interface's side menu. Once you have clicked this, a new media zone will appear in your template preview. You can resize and position your scrolling text zone in the same way as your video and image zones. You can do this manually by clicking on the zone and dragging out the frame handles. You can also size and position your zones more accurately by using the scaling and positioning tools. To delete this zone at any time, simply right-click with your mouse, then click Delete. In addition to your other zones, you can add one logo area to your template. This zone has a size restriction of 256 by 256 pixels and is used for branding. It will always stay on top of all your other zones. Begin by clicking the logo option from your interface's side menu. Once you have clicked the logo option, you will be redirected to a list of your uploaded images. Tick the checkbox below the image you want to use as your logo, then click OK. The logo media zone will now appear as your logo. You can set the size based on the original file dimensions. To delete this zone at any time, simply right-click with your mouse and click Delete. In addition to your media zones, you can add the time and date to your template. You can set the style, colour and font size of these elements. These zones will also stay on top of all your other zones, meaning they will always be seen. To add a date display to your template, begin by clicking the Date option from the interface's side menu. A new zone containing the date will now appear. Reposition this where you want it on the template and restyle accordingly. To add a time display to your template, begin by clicking the Time option from the interface's side menu. A new zone containing the time will now appear. Reposition this where you want the time to appear on your template and restyle accordingly. To delete these zones at any time, simply right-click with your mouse, then click Delete. Once you have finished adding all of your media zones that you want to include, you can now save your template by clicking the Save button. You will now see a list of the templates you have created.